Welcome to PhD&D on YouTube and another meeting of the minds after last night's phenomenal live meeting of the minds. If you missed it, check it out. It's posted up on my channel. There was a lot of good discussion, in all honesty, that went on, and it went on for the whole time, I thought. So even though it's a longer video, if you maybe don't have time to watch the whole thing, skip around in it because, like I said, all the way through, fantastic discussion with myself, Andrew from Don Forge Cast, Felipe over at Felipe1 Go Here. Check them out as well. Their channels, I thought they brought together a very good discussion. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, our third member, Sean from The Outsiders, was not able to join, but check back in the future as we still plan on getting him on a live meeting of the minds. I want to kind of recap a little bit with what I've done, what I'm going to do with this. In the past, so far I've got 3 meeting of the minds plus the live video. Now, moving on in the future, say I do a meeting of the minds right now, I would recap the last week's. I'm going to start doing that so you can kind of get a sense of what the community has done if you weren't able to weigh in. This week I will not do that. However, since we had the live one, there's a lot of topics. Just go check that one out yourself. But also, PhD&D is now on Twitter and Facebook. Check it out there. I promise not to clutter up your feed. I will use it just occasionally to spout off random musings that maybe don't deserve a YouTube video but just want to get out there. So check it out there as well. And we're going to move on with this week's Meeting of the Minds to get this community going on a very broad, not broad I guess, very common topic, something you hear all the time as a GM, and that is to say yes to your players. That arises, an issue in my mind, yet also there's a place for it. You're always told to say yes to your players. It's Dungeons and Dragons, it's Pathfinder, it's fantasy role-playing. They can do whatever they want. That's the beauty of it. So always say yes to your players. But that can also cause issues as well, and that's where this discussion comes in. As there's going to be no clear answer to it, I want to see how the community responds and how everyone feels about this topic. So when you say yes, repeatedly, say a player would like to do something. They want to go somewhere. Of course, say yes. If you've got your world built and you're comfortable with that, let them go. If your player wishes to talk to somebody or do something to somebody in town, say yes. Allow them to do the basic things they want to do. But in my opinion, there's a point where I've seen players take advantage of this. And you can clearly tell when they begin to, because it's not common things. It's not, I'd like to go buy a tavern. That's fine. If they got the money, whatever. Go let them buy a tavern. But it also comes down to the point where they're in dire need of something, and, well, I've got this on my person, don't I? Maybe they actually need flint and steel. Let's use flint and steel. That doesn't get used enough in my opinion. So let's say they don't have flint and steel. I don't know why an adventurer wouldn't have it, but they don't. And they need it. Well, I would have grabbed that before I left town. And they kind of lean to you like, say yes, let me do this. That's wrong to me right there. That's an abuse in its fullest. That is the difference between, saying yes to something they'd like to do versus saying yes to help them in a specific situation. And I hope I'm being clear with this. It's not coming off clear in my head, so I apologize. But players are going to start to use that. Maybe not all the time and maybe not all players, but what happens when they do? What happens when you get to that point? That's one of the most sacred rules for a lot of GMs. That's what you hear, that's been passed down. Say yes to your players. What about when that causes a problem? What do you do at that point? How do you handle that? Is it a balance issue? Is it, what if it just becomes overused and to the point where if you say no, that's just absurd to the players. Our GM is telling us no. Are you serious? Why is he telling us no? This is tabletop role-playing. You can't tell us no. And I've seen that happen. So I want to extend that out to the community. What happens when saying yes becomes an issue? What happens to your party? What happens to the table dynamic? What happens to the relationship between you and them when saying yes is abused and saying no becomes completely absurd? I'm going to keep it short at that, try to keep it right here around 5 minutes. That's the meeting of the minds for the week. Video responses, comments, anything, messages, whatever. Take it, run with it. I'm really interested to see what everyone does with this. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.